Zelenskyy achieved a plurality of the electorate, 30%, in the first round of elections on 31 March 2019. In the second round, on 21 April 2019, he received 73% of the vote to Poroshenko's 25% and was elected president of Ukraine. Polish President Andrzej Duda was one of the first European leaders to congratulate Zelenskyy. French President Emmanuel Macron received Zelenskyy at the Élysée Palace in Paris on 12 April 2019. On 22 April, US President Donald Trump congratulated Zelenskyy on his victory over the telephone. European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker and European Council President Donald Tusk also issued a joint letter of congratulations and stated that the European Union, EU, will work to speed up the implementation of the remainder of the EU-Ukraine Association Agreement, including the deep and comprehensive free trade area. Zelenskyy was inaugurated on 20 May 2019. Various foreign officials attended the ceremony in Ukraine's parliament, including Salome Zurabichvili, Georgia, Kersti Kaljulaid, Estonia, Raimons Vejonis, Latvia, Dalia Grybauskaite, Lithuania, Janos Ader, Hungary, Maros Šefčovič, European Union, and Rick Perry, United States. Zelenskyy is the first Jewish president. With Volodymyr Groysman as prime minister, Ukraine became the first country other than Israel to simultaneously have a Jewish head of state and head of government. In his inaugural address, Zelenskyy dissolved the then Ukrainian parliament and called for early parliamentary elections. One of Zelenskyy's coalition partners, the People's Front, opposed the move and withdrew from the ruling coalition. This marked the beginning of a significant shift in Ukrainian politics, setting the stage for Zelenskyy to implement his vision for Ukraine. On 28 May, Zelenskyy restored the Ukrainian citizenship of Mikhail Saakashvili. Zelenskyy's first major proposal to change the electoral system from a plurality voting system to proportional representation with closed party lists was strongly rejected by the Ukrainian parliament, due to the belief that closed lists would lead to more corruption in government. In addition, on 6 June, lawmakers refused to include Zelenskyy's key initiative on reintroducing criminal liability for illegal enrichment in the parliament's agenda, and instead included a similar bill proposed by a group of deputies. In June 2019, it was announced that the president's third major initiative, which seeks to remove immunity from lawmakers, diplomats, and judges, would be submitted after the July 2019 Ukrainian parliamentary election. This initiative was completed on 3 September when the new parliament passed a bill stripping lawmakers of legal immunity, delivering Zelenskyy a legislative victory by fulfilling one of his key campaign promises. On 8 July, Zelenskyy ordered the cancellation of the annual Kyiv Independence Day parade on Maidan Nezalezhnosti, citing costs. Despite this, Zelenskyy highlighted that the day would honor heroes on Independence Day. However, the format will be new. He also proposed to spend the money that would have been used to finance the parade on veterans. In 2020, Zelenskyy's party proposed reforms to Ukraine's media laws with the intent to increase competition and loosen the dominance of Ukrainian oligarchs on television and radio broadcasters. Critics said it risked increasing media censorship in Ukraine because its clause of criminal responsibility for the distribution of disinformation could be abused. Despite the controversy, Zelenskyy maintained that the reforms would foster a healthier media environment, free from oligarchic control. He emphasized that the ultimate goal was to ensure transparency and integrity in Ukraine's media landscape for the benefit of its citizens. In January 2020, Zelenskyy took a trip to Oman that was not published on his official schedule, appearing to combine a personal holiday with government business. His office said Zelenskyy paid for the entire trip himself. Nevertheless, he was criticized for a lack of transparency, and critics pointed out he had once criticized his predecessor Poroshenko for taking an undisclosed vacation in the Maldives. In January 2021, Parliament passed a bill updating and reforming Ukraine's referendum laws, which Ukraine's constitutional court had declared unconstitutional in 2018. Fixing the referendum law had been one of Zelensky's campaign promises. This move marked a significant step towards Zelensky's commitment to democratic reforms and engaging the public in the nation's decision-making process. The passage of the bill signaled a proactive approach by Zelensky's administration to address past legal shortcomings and fulfill promises made during his election campaign. In June 2021, Zelensky submitted to the Verkhovna Rada a bill creating a public registry of Ukraine's oligarchs, banning them from participating in privatizations of state-owned companies and forbidding them from contributing financially to politicians. Opposition party leaders supported Zelensky's goal of reducing oligarchs' influence on politics in Ukraine, but were critical of his approach, saying the public register would be both dangerous, as it concentrated power in the president, and ineffective since oligarchs were merely a symbol of more deeply rooted corruption. The bill was passed into law in September 2021. Critics of Zelensky's administration have claimed that, in taking power away from the Ukrainian oligarchs, he has sought to centralize authority and strengthen his position. Despite the controversy, Zelensky argued that the new law was a crucial step towards transparency and the democratization of Ukraine, promising to dismantle the power structures that have long governed the country's politics and economy. Zelensky appointed Andriy Bohdan as head of the presidential administration of Ukraine. Before this, Bohdan had been the lawyer of Ukrainian oligarch Ihor Kolomoisky. Under the rules of lustration in Ukraine, introduced in 2014 following Euromaidan, Bohdan is not entitled to hold any state office until 2024. Bohdan, however, contended that because heading the presidential administration is not considered civil service work, lustration did not apply to him. This argument sparked a debate among political analysts and law experts, examining the fine line between public service roles and civil service positions. As the controversy unfolded, it brought attention to the nuances of Ukrainian legislation and the challenges in interpreting and applying lustration laws effectively. Despite the legal debate surrounding Bohdan's appointment, his role in the presidential administration would significantly impact Ukraine's political landscape and future decisions. The appointment of Bohdan raised questions about the balance between political loyalty, legal requirements, and public perception in Ukrainian governance. A number of the members of the presidential administration Zelensky appointed were former colleagues from his former production company, Kvartal 95. Former Deputy Foreign Minister Olena Zerkal declined an appointment as deputy head of the presidential administration, but did agree to serve as the Ukrainian representative of the international courts concerning Russia. Zelensky's requests to replace the foreign minister, defense minister, chief prosecutor, and head of Ukraine's security service were rejected by parliament. Zelensky also dismissed and replaced 20 of the governors of Ukraine's 24 oblasts. In a bold move reshaping the political landscape, these changes mark a significant shift in Ukraine's governance structure, reflecting Zelensky's commitment to his vision for the country. The restructuring of key positions within the administration not only signals Zelensky's determination to bring about change, but also sets the stage for a new era of governance in Ukraine. As the dust settles on these impactful decisions, Ukraine's political landscape braces for further transformations under Zelensky's leadership, promising a period of both challenge and opportunity for the nation. In the 21st July 2019 parliamentary election, Zelensky's political party, Servant of the People, won the first single-party majority in modern Ukrainian history in parliament, with 43% of the party list vote. His party gained 254 of the 424 seats. Following the elections, Zelensky nominated Oleksiy Honcharuk as prime minister, who was quickly confirmed by parliament. Parliament also confirmed Andriy Zahorodnyuk as defense minister, Vadim Pristaiko as foreign minister, and Ivan Bakanov as head of the SBU. Arsen Avakov, a controversial figure due to long-standing corruption allegations, was kept on as interior minister, with Honcharuk arguing that the relatively inexperienced government needed experienced administrators and that Avakov had been drawn red lines that cannot be crossed. Zelenskyy dismissed Bohdan as head of his presidential administration on 11 February 2020 and appointed Andriy Yermak as his successor the same day. In March 2020, Honcharak resigned as prime minister following the leak of an audio recording in which he appeared to belittle Zelenskyy's economic management. Honcharak was replaced as prime minister by Denis Shmyhal. Honcharak's hasty departure caused disquiet both in Ukraine and abroad, with many economists and political observers warning it would bring instability. In his 4-March address to the Rada, Zelenskyy recommitted to reforms domestic and financial, and remarked that he cannot always become a psychologist for people, a crisis manager for someone, a collector who requires honestly earned money, and a nanny of the ministry in charge. By September 2020, Zelenskyy's approval ratings had fallen to less than 32%. Zelenskyy and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan met on 16 October 2020. On 24 March 2021, Zelenskyy signed Decree 117/2021, approving the strategy for deoccupation and reintegration of the temporarily occupied territory of the Autonomous Republic of Crimea and the city of Sevastopol.